Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to the segment of Coach Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. The recitation is from Salok, rather Wadhans Ki War, Mahalla Chotha. The Saloks are by the third Nanak, Gur Amar Das. The Saloks first, followed by the Pauri. Salok Mahalla Tija. बिन सतगुर सेवे जी के बंदना विच हूं मैं कर्म कमाहे बिन सतगुर सेवे ठौर न पावई मर जम्मे आवह जाय बिन सतगुर सेवे फिक्का बोलण नाम नवसे मन माहे नानक बिन सतगुर सेवे जमपुर बद्दे मारियन मुह काले उठ जाय. Bin Satgur is the refrain, which means without an enlightening intellect, in other words, an intellect that is suffused with wisdom, Nam, without that, that is the refrain. These are the conditions that will come upon your mind, or this is how your mind will be. The first is, the very first, Ji ke bandhana. So without wisdom, the first thing that happens is that the individual, the sentient being, is caught. It's trapped, bandhana, it's in bondage, because it does not recognize its truly free nature. It is trapped. That is the first thing that happens, ji ke bandhana, and then once it is trapped, haume karma kamai, then all of its actions, everything that it does is ego-based, as opposed to hukam-based or devotion-based, which means that it acts from the perspective of a separated individual, not recognizing that one, there is no separation, that everything in the universe is interconnected with each other. And the second thing is the ego, which is simply an abstraction. The way that I like to think of it is that there is a universe out there, an objective universe, which is too complex for us to understand individually. I mean, yes, we understand it up to a point, but when we speak about individuals, it is not possible for us to grasp the complexity that lies behind this universe, this objective universe. And then along with it, there is the subjective universe or the subjective consciousness within. That is even more complex and even more difficult to comprehend. The inner and the outer have a relationship. They have to integrate with one another. And so the haume is simply that intersection between the outer and the inner consciousness, the outer consciousness and the inner. The haume is simply the passage, the conduit for all of these patterns that, or sensory impressions that come through it. However, haume is not the guiding intellect. It is not the force. That is the har. That is the har that has to actually make the right decisions. So here's the first problem. You are taking the haume to be the source of that knowledge, which it isn't. You are neglecting the actual source. Haume karam kamai. And then what happens is, thaurana pavahi. You don't find, in other words, you cannot get stability of mind. The mind is constantly moving. Haume is constantly ill at ease. It's constantly moving. And in order to understand the inner consciousness, you have to have some stability. So you see the issue here. And what happens then? Mar jamme aave jaye. then you are caught. This bondage is the cycle of coming and going. That is what life is. You come and go. You don't think about it in terms of just your individual life that obviously will come and go. But the fact is that this is a very large, a much larger system that is at work, that life just comes and goes and comes and goes. And we are just caught in that because we have not got the wisdom. Namina vasamanayai. This is the third condition. Nam. There's no wisdom possible where there is ego. So eventually, jam pur badde marian moh kale uth jaye. Jampur is a city, the town of Jam, of time, of death. So we are caught in time and space, but we are caught Marian. And so we then disgrace ourselves, mohkale, because you have not found the dignity that was yours to be as a human being. Instead, you have lived life at a far lower level. So you kale uth jaye, so you depart without having accomplished the purpose for which you were here. The second slok, mahla pehla, jalo aisi reet jit mein pyara visray, nanak sai pali pareet jit sahib seti patarave. So the Guru is saying, it doesn't matter what you are doing. And this is addressing ritual practices by and large, but it applies everywhere else. It really doesn't matter what you are doing, what ceremonial customs you are following. Discontinue them at once, the Guru says. Burn them. Jalo aisi reet. Why? Jit mein pyara visra. Because they do not remind you of the beloved within. You're missing the mark constantly. Nanak sai pali pareet. Only that tradition, that practice is good, by which you retain your honor and dignity as a human being. Sahib seti patra hai. So be sure. So in the last Shabad, the Guru spoke somewhat of the same thing, and periodically you will find this theme is emphasized over and over again, that wisdom has to be the basis of Sikhi, knowledge and wisdom. Anything that you do, if there isn't Naam present in it, you're wasting your time. In the Pauri, हर एक को दाता सेवी है, हर एक ध्याई है, हर एक को दाता मंगी है, मन चिंदिया पाई है, जे दूजे पासों मंगी है, तां लाज मराई है, जिन सेविया तिन फल पाया, तिस जन की सब भुख गवाई है, नानक तिन विटों वारिया, जिन दिन हृदय हर नाम ध्याई है. So Nanak is beholden to those who live by this wisdom. Andin hirde har naam ध्याई है, who have affixed their center, embedded themselves in this wisdom. They are the ones who will actually help you lead and obtain a fruitful life. Jin sevya tin phal paya. Why? Because this janki sab pokha gawai hai. Your hunger, the craving in which we are all immersed, comes under control. Because you recognize har ikko data bangiye, man chindya paiye, and je duje paso mangiye ta laaj maraiye. So if you are looking outside to satisfy your hunger, then shame upon you. It's very simple as that. You have to turn to the Satgur, the enlightener. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.